Hey everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't usually wear earrings, but I like them, and it's because I don't usually wear them because I'm scared my kids are going to rip them out and make a giant hole in my ears. But thanks so much for joining. My name is Krisell Valenzuela, and I am a multidimensional medium. And what that means is, yes, I connect with ancestors and loved ones, but I also connect with other dimensional beings like angels, dragons, unicorns, extraterrestrials, all kinds of different energetic beings. And usually they come forth as guides. So that's what I do. I'm also a multidimensional medium because I work with different dimensional energies. So, whether it be working in people's energetic fields and doing arc field balancing, or whether it's working in the Akashic Records, or whether it's working in different dimensions to help facilitate whatever it is that the client needs to get out of it. I see myself as a medium in that sense too. So, that's me. If you're interested to learn more about me and how you can work with me, you can head to my website, which is www.krisellcan.com. And there it is at the bottom of the page or bottom of the screen, too. So, thank you so much for joining today because today I am going to be doing live emoji readings. And the reason why I do these live emoji readings is because I want people to see how attainable spirituality is and how accessible it is. And it doesn't matter where you're coming from. You could be atheist. I've given an atheist a reading that happened to resonate with him or her. I'm not revealing any identities. But I do it so that people can see how accessible it is. And spirituality isn't about dogma or indoctrination, and that it meets you where you are. So that's why I do these readings. And I see someone has joined from Facebook. Hi, Facebook friend. Just tapping into the Facebook group to see who's joining. Hey, Nina, thanks so much for joining. So I'm going to share kind of how these emoji readings work, but I want to share a couple of announcements too before we get started. So we'll do some announcements. We'll do a quick grounding and clearing meditation so that you guys can just kind of shed anything that you brought with you from the day. Excuse me. And then I'm going to go run and get my bottled water. And then we'll go into emoji readings. So who else? Hey, Blair, thanks so much for joining. If you guys are dropping in, hey, Nadia, thanks so much for joining. Drop me a comment. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're joining from. Thanks so much for being here. So I like to also do these readings. It's kind of a way for other people to see how it could benefit them. So if you get a reading, just share when you're done, when the reading is done, how it resonates with you, because that helps someone come closer to their own spirituality. I don't choose who goes, but spirit guides me to who to read for. And something I want to share is also, I always set the intention whenever there's group work that what comes through from one person resonates for everyone. So this is a group experience. So if you're sitting there and you're listening to someone else's reading and you're like, damn, that hits home for me, that is intentional. Hey, Lois, thanks for joining from Reno. My sister is interviewing for a job in Reno, so she may be there soon. Just to share with you guys, I am joining you from Ajachiman lands, otherwise known as Tongva, otherwise known as Southern California. I acknowledge the indigenous peoples that occupied the land before me, so as to decolonize myself And the first step in that is to acknowledge and honor the lands that I reside on. Okay, I'm gonna go run and grab my water bottle because if you guys have ever seen me give readings before, I drink a lot of water. So I'll be right back. All right, so I do want to share that as far as announcements go, if you are on my mailing list, I sent an email last week, and the email I sent last week is for a new offering that I came out with. I'll be doing group past life regressions. So I did past life regression training, specifically quantum healing hypnosis training through Dolores Cannon's method in the fall of last year. And so I'm offering group regression experiences, and they're all done online. However, one on one regression or one on one QHHT sessions are only done in person. Um, and so my first one is actually going to be in a couple of weeks, and you can find it on my website as well. But if you're on my mailing list, if you were on my mailing list before I sent out the email last week, then you will have found that there's a code to join the first one for free. If you're not familiar with what a past life regression is, it's a form of divination. So we go through meditation and you recall a past life, and the past life holds a lesson for you, it holds a story for you that helps you kind of understand what it is that you're seeking guidance on. When we do a private past life regression, I take you into a deep state of trance. And trance is just a meditative state. So you are still in control, and you are still most of the time conscious. I haven't come across anyone that's not conscious during the past life regression. But it's like you're dreaming almost. Or even daydreaming, because you are a witness, you are an active participant to what you are experiencing. And what I do is I ask you questions to describe what it is that you're seeing, feeling, sensing, everything. And that's how we draw out what the past life is. So it's almost like I'm interviewing you while you are in this meditation and experiencing the past life. And then we go through a higher self channeling, which really helps bring understanding to what it is that you're here for, what your purpose is, why this past life. And you usually come with a list of questions, and we ask those questions of your higher self during the channeling. So that's a new offering, and I will be sharing that code with the general public at next week's virtual demonstration. And just to share with you guys, because every Thursday I come here and I do these virtual demonstrations. So the first week of every month, emoji readings, that's today. Those are really fun. Next week, I'm going to teach you guys psychic games because everyone's psychic. So everyone can participate, and I will show you how to play, and I'll give a little bit of coaching and teach you guys how to develop your psychic abilities through there. On the 18th, I'm going to talk about the energy body. So we all have this physical body, and then we all also have an energetic body. You may know a part of your energy body as your aura, and that's a part of your energy body. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then every last Thursday of the month, I do open Q&A. So you can drop a question. You can send me a private message with the question, and I can answer it then. But then I also answer live questions from whoever joins. So there go all my announcements. So if you guys are ready, we've got a small group here. So what we're going to do is start with a meditation. This is a grounding and clearing meditation, and it's really just to help you kind of shed all of the energy that you've picked up from the day and have picked up on your way to this space, this time in which we are joining. And so we're going to do this meditation. If you've never meditated before, don't worry about it. Just relax and follow along. A lot of people have a misconception of meditation, and I bet you've done it in so many different ways. So go ahead and take a comfortable position, whether that be sitting back, laying down, standing up, or sitting up, extending your spine. And you can go ahead and take your comfortable position and close your eyes. We're going to begin with 3 deep, clearing breaths, and I'll walk you through them and count you out. We'll breathe in through the nose, hold it, and then exhale through the mouth. So if you haven't shut your eyes already, go ahead and close your eyes. And we'll begin by breathing in through the nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. You can allow your breath to return to a normal rhythm. And I want you to visualize roots growing from your tailbone. As these roots grow down from your tailbone, wrapping down your legs, wrapping down your ankles, and covering your feet, you can watch these roots grow into the ground and travel through the space between your floorboards and the earth below your home. Watch those roots as they move into the earth. Watch the roots as they move into the earth and connect and braid with the plant roots all around you. Plant roots from the trees, from the grass, from the flowers, from your garden. Your roots are connecting with all of the roots in your space. And your roots journey onward further into the earth, traveling through layers of rock and dirt, even streams of water. And your roots move down, down, deep into the earth until they connect with the earth's core. Watch as the earth's core glows a warm golden color. And as the earth's core glows this color, your roots drink up this divine energy. You feel yourself become more anchored and more connected with the earth. And as your roots drink up this golden light energy, the golden light travels up your roots, up through these different layers of earth, up through the roots that connect with the plants, up into your home and into your body. And as this light connects with your body, it lights up one cell, and that cell lights up the surrounding cells, And this continues as a chain reaction until all of the cells of your being light up and you're one big glowing being. You feel the energy pulse through you, warming you and amplifying you. You feel the energy sprout out through the top of your head with branches reaching out into the universe. Take a deep breath here. And down from the universe comes a column of white light. And your branches reach out for it and bring it in. And as your energetic being soaks in this column of white light, it anchors it in to connect it to the earth's core. Expand this column of light until it reaches a mile radius around you. Take a deep breath. Now expand this column of white light until it encompasses the globe. Now I want you to think about your intention for your reading today, whether it be to connect with a loved one, a guide, or to connect with guidance. Whatever your intention may be, I want you to take a moment to think about it and sit with it. And take a deep breath here. I'll give you another moment to sit with your intention. But when you're ready, gently bring your attention back to your fingers and back to your toes. And you can gently bat your eyelashes open. And when you're ready, you can also pick an emoji and drop your emoji in the comments. Let's see, which one do I want to share? Oh, that one is cut off. Okay, there we go. So go ahead and drop your emojis. And you know what? Usually I only use my card decks to support me when I'm feeling really low on energy, like I feel tired. And if you don't follow me on social media, I quit my job. I work for a very large company as a commercial banker, and tomorrow is my last day. And because tomorrow is my last day, I actually feel so energized, and I can't believe how much of me that the company took or how much I let them take, because I just feel like I'm just calling back in so much of my energy, and it's already creating like cutting it out is already creating so much space for so many more things to happen for me. So I just want to share, because I feel like this is probably going to be a theme, but celebrating yourself, no matter what the celebration is so important, because that celebration takes up space. And if you don't celebrate it, a stagnant space, stagnant energy. And so you need to celebrate it to let it free and let more energy to come take up space and have more celebrations. So, yes. Okay. So I'm actually really called to Blair's emoji, and I can see it in the Facebook group, but you can't see it in the streaming tool that I use called StreamYard. So if you guys are joining from Facebook for the first time, there's actually a link in the event description or the show description, and you can click on the link so that it will allow me to see your name and your post in StreamYard. So I'm going to start with, let's see here, Blair. Okay. So Blair, I do feel like there's some energy healing to happen here, because that's usually what happens when I rub my hands together. Okay, so Blair's, what I'm seeing, I see like this really white, wispy entity. And it reminds me of like if you saw someone wearing like this really gauzy or very light fabric garment and it was like moving in the wind. And I see this entity kind of like move around you. And the way I see them right now is actually they're in front of you. So that's interesting, because when I see guides, are they like right up here or behind you, and she's moving all around you. So I'm just going to feel into what this means, why she's doing that. She's actually doing energy healing, because when I kind of just watch what she's doing, it looks like she's clearing your field, because there's a lot of movement and she's moving around a lot. But what I noticed the most is that she's moving on your masculine side. So it feels like in terms, and she's also I'm getting like tingles in my head, and it feels like someone's massaging my head right here on the left side. And so it feels like there's a lot of like structure and action taken. um, and it also feels like distraction, and that's why she's doing a lot of clearing on that side. um, Hold on, I'm getting confused. Okay, so it feels like there's a lot of clearing happening on that side. And so it feels like the words like radical rest come up, but it also feels like peace, to have peace. And peace in the sense of you don't need to do more to feel satisfied and to feel complete, that in accepting where you're at, and that's where the flow comes in, is to just be in the energy and know that not all things need action to have completion, but it feels like peace with where you're at, so that you're not overactive on the masculine side. Let's see here. You're So first off, it feels like she's a guide. It feels like a very feminine energy, um, almost androgynous. So it could also be, yeah, I was gonna say an angel or an archangel, but it doesn't feel like that. It actually feels like starseed energy, and I know that there is one that is like that could that's when I see pictures of them, they almost feel androgynous because they all kind of look the same. Like I know Pleiadians are supposed to look like Vikings or something like that, but she's very tall. I get feminine energy, which also makes sense because she's working on your masculine side. But it just feels like it feels like that is complete, because she actually gave me the signal, which looks different for everyone. But it's like her cheering on and being happy about what I shared. So I just want to see if there's anything else that I can add to this. Yeah, it feels like this masculine clearing of action driven, structure driven energy is also coming from a place of not feeling like you're enough, because the last thing she showed me is like a lot of pink pink energy, and pink has to do with compassion and self-love. So that in itself is also radical, like caring about yourself, because and I can empathize with this because this is where I was at one point. But we often think that to be enough is to almost be a martyr and give all of yourself until there is nothing of you left to give. But what's real radical about self care is knowing that taking care of yourself means that you get to help more people because you get to show up for another day. So, because you showed up for yourself, you can show up for others. And that feels complete. So, thank you so much, Blair, for letting me read for you. I'm just going to clear my energy from yours. I'm going to go on to the next one. So, let's see here. Nina Martin is a panda. Okay. Nina Martin. So, what I see is actually a ladybug. And when I see this ladybug, it's very red, very red. And I know ladybugs, they often come off as like, they symbolize fortune or luck, good luck, prosperity sometimes. Um, yes, this is about fortune and abundance, and what you cultivate and how you are cultivating what you're growing and how you are nurturing what you're growing. What I see is, I know that sometimes people get hordes of ladybugs for their gardens, and it's supposed to help with a pest. Maybe you have a pest in your life, but it helps the garden thrive. So one of the things, so in that relationship of the ladybug working as kind of like pest control, it's also, there are themes of safety and security and protection in there. Red is a color that I often associate with the root chakra, which has to do with our sense of being and how we feel in our environment and in our relationship to that environment. Red is also a color we often associate with danger, but really, red is just calling our attention to our security and our safety. Like, pay attention, pay attention. It's red. It's supposed to catch your attention for that reason. Um, but in particular, this feels like protection and how you are nurturing your garden. So if we can just talk about the symbolism in this for a second, your garden is you and your life and what you're cultivating and how you're cultivating it and how you're nurturing it. And so because I see this swarm of ladybugs, I also feel like I don't see who is delivering this message. And it could be that I'm just reading your energy and this is what you're kind of going through right now. But it feels like this abundance of ladybugs that are showing up in your garden, just like doing the thing and taking care of you. It also feels like guides. It also feels like letting you know that you are blessed and highly favored, and that you've got this entourage, that you've got this arsenal, or whatever word resonates with you to describe having this massive amount of support. So that's what it feels like, is that you have a massive amount of support, and you don't need to feel scared anymore. You don't need to feel doubtful of yourself, that you are in a place of a deeply rooted sense of security. And that part of really embodying that security, or like living in that security, is acknowledging at the point that you are safe and that you are secure and that you are protected. And so it's like your higher self is sharing this, because your higher self is like clapping that is complete. So I'm just throwing up there what Blair shared about her reading. So I just want to see if there's anything else to share for Nina. Um, So Spirit shows me what I have seen before as a symbol. So this is exactly what I'm seeing. It's like I see an avatar of you, and you're just twirling in like this open meadow. So lots of green, lots of natural foliage. It's not manicured. Um, and there's a lot of sunlight, and it's like you're just twirling and soaking in that sunlight. And when I see this, it feels like this invitation to just like let yourself be out and be seen because you are so protected and deeply rooted. The way I see the chakras or the energy centers is that we kind of move our way through them from the lower chakras upward. And that's how we create a firm foundation. I like to think of it sort of like a totem pole, where, you know, if you didn't have these um, balanced, um, evenly balanced weight distribution stacking on top of each other, then you would topple over. And so, as all of this has been talk about your root energy center, um, it's also about the sense of self. And so, at some point, in order for you to graduate to the next energy center and to work on the next lesson, um, there's an acknowledgement, acknowledging yourself and the work that you've done and where you are, and celebrating yourself. So that feels complete, Nina. I hope that helps. Please share how that resonates for you. And I'm actually going to jump to Nadia next. So, Nadia, thanks so much for joining. Where the heck is yours? Here we go. Okay. So, okay. So, whenever, this is just a psychic development tip. Whenever I go into a reading, once I've set the intention, I've connected, I consider everything that happens from that point until I disconnect. Um, I consider all of it part of the reading. So that's why whenever I start to rub my hands, that's usually something that happens when there's some sort of energy healing happening. And energy healing can be really broad. Sometimes I actually do like some color therapy, light therapy, toning, etc. But sometimes there's like codes in what I'm sharing that is the energy healing. So, Nadia, I do feel like there's some sort of energy healing, and I feel like there's a lot happening in your field, because even as I like stretched my neck, whenever I think so, if you guys are new to me, let me share that a lot of my practice is anchored in the body and in what the body is trying to tell us, and with the body as a divination tool. So whenever I feel into my neck, I actually feel like it has to do with our perspective and how we're viewing things and how flexible and broad we are looking at things. And because I moved my neck around the way that I did, I feel like it felt like there's creaking. It felt like it was awakening new. Sorry, I'm just dropping in what Nina wrote. So I feel like it's awakening new new views, if that makes sense. Yeah, new perspectives. But it also feels like I felt some bone cracking, and whether or not that's actually bone cracking, what it means to me is that it's like you're awakening new pathways. And really, that's what a perspective represents for us. It's a pathway, because at the end of the day, you still have free will and you could choose to go down this way or that way. And I personally believe that because with thanks to our free will, that there is no dead end, that you just keep on going. You just keep on going. Like if you go down this road, if you have, I feel like there are three pathways happening for you right now. And I feel like you already know what three pathways I'm talking about, because I just got that feeling. But it feels like there are three pathways, and it almost feels like these are three different career pathways. And because I've worked with Nadia, I already know that she's in school for something, but that academic path represents one pathway. But then it feels like there are two other pathways. One of them being like really connected to spirituality, which doesn't mean that you can't do the academic pathway, whatever that is, because there could be a merging of the two. And actually, I feel like that's what the third pathway is. It's like you could do one, two, or you can do both. And that's the third option. But what I was trying to say is that when you go down any of these pathways, that you always have the option to turn around and go back. It's not gonna be the exact same, because if you think about it, even as you travel down one way, like I think of when I'm going to a place for the first time, when I come back, it's never the same. It never feels the same. Yeah, because you're going in reverse, but also because you already have some level of experience with that path, with that road, whatever you want to call it, with those directions. And so it's never ever going to be the same because you already have a level of interaction or entanglement there. So just keep that in mind. When you turn around, it's not to say that you can reverse what's happened, but it's to say that you can always go back and find comfort from where you came from. Ooh, really? Your higher self just gives me like the that's complete sign, but I'm going to see if there's anything else that we can add here. I do see what I see is like a ghost, but like very cartoony ghost looking, like when people have a blanket or a sheet over them and they cut holes through for the eyes. That's the kind of ghost I see. And whenever I see this ghost, it's what it feels like is that there is a energy that's trying to reveal themselves to you, but they're playing it very cautiously because they're not sure how you're going to react yet. So I know that you are actively working on connecting with your spirit guides, which I saw that yes, you signed up for my course, my on-demand course. And it feels like it's just allowing yourself the space, the freedom to play in this interaction. Um, if there is a tip that I can give any of you guys in your spiritual development, is to have fun with it, because the second you take it too serious, you're latching on, and attaching to a certain outcome and a perspective. And so what you've done is you've just blocked yourself off from other possibilities. And so when you're play, you're just having this openness, to all of the possibilities, and that's where we want to be. Let's see here. Ooh, okay. I feel like something happened while I was sharing this. When I first started, I released some gas. A release of gas, a release of, whether it's like a toot or a burp, it's a release of energy. And so what it means, what it symbolizes to me is that you're releasing something. I'm not going to get into it right now because then I could take up the whole time, but where it's coming from says a lot too. So it feels like, it actually feels like you've been moving through kind of like how you perceive this work, which I know you have because I know your story. But then in in that, it feels like you're starting to let go, like you've grasped onto whatever beliefs you had before, and then now you're actually doing like the last remnants of it, you're letting it go. And that is what will actually open you up to more of connecting with your guides. Because the last thing I saw when I was like, oh, okay, the guy that had the like sheet over them, they just like ripped it off and they're like, she's ready. So your guides are fun. Your guides are fun. And for my Connect and Work with Your Spirit Guides course, which is on demand, self guided, I offer a monthly live where I answer questions and do the Connect with Your Guides meditation with you, and then share with you who I see coming forth as your guide. And so that's something that, you know, you can come to and I will do with you. But I'm also saying that this is a guide that looks like a family member. So this is someone that you, they look like a person, and that's the reason why I say that. They don't always look like humans. So it looks like a human, and it actually looks like a younger person, they look like a child. And the way that I see them, the way they look like a child, they have kind of like blondish brownish hair, but they have like the little Dutch boy haircut, you know, like the bowl cut almost. And so that actually makes me feel like it's someone that um, that may have taken, I was gonna say may have taken their life, but it could also have been someone where there was like a mental disconnect. So when people take their own life, I see them come through as children. And that's because, like, on a soul level, that's kind of like where the maturity was. But this one, I almost said it, and they shook their head no, like that's not how they went. So it feels like it was maybe like a mental condition, that they were more like a child, but they were actually older when they passed. And that feels complete. So thank you, Nadia, for letting me read for you. And that was Nadia. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name, Nadia, but Nadia Y. So thank you so much for letting me read for you. I'm just going to disconnect with your energy. All right. And if you guys are just joining me, if you're just joining me, I just popped on the screen the instructions to get a reading. And Lois, I hope you're still around, Lois, because I'm going to read for you next. Let's see here. And actually, what I think I'm going to do is after Lois, I'm going to do Cynthia. So if you guys are still around, if you don't mind just dropping me a comment or an emoji, whatever. Just so I can make sure I don't start reading for someone that's not here. So Lois. Thanks for joining, Santos Vasquez. And actually, I wonder if you're a bot or a real person, because you guys have weird comments. Sometimes that happens. And actually, that is why I don't broadcast to my Facebook page anymore, because I kept having people show up in my live readings, and then they would try to solicit people like through the comments and private messaging, and I was like, okay, if I'm creating a safe space, this is not a safe space. So I moved it to my private group. All right, so let's start with your Lois. I think this is you, Lois. Yeah, that looks like it. All right, so Lois and Cynthia, make sure you guys, Lois, you're already here, but Cynthia, don't go anywhere because I'm going to do you next. Ooh. Excuse me, I just had to burp, and that felt like a big one. So Lois, what's going on? Okay, so whenever I burp, it feels like, so this one felt like there is something going on in the lung. And I'm not talking about your physical health or, you know, your physiology, but it feels like, because our lungs represent our connection to everything, our connection to spirit, to the universe. And it feels like there was space being taken up and you released it. It was space being taken up that wasn't necessarily integrating with you and not working with you and co-creating with you. It felt like a mass that was taking up space that needed to go. So first thing that happened is it felt like it was released. And then when it tapped into your energy, what I'm seeing is like I see you doing this, and it looks like I was like, is she on drums? Is she on a bongo drum? But it actually looked like I don't know what it was. I'm still feeling into what it looked like, but it does look like one. It almost looks like a waterbed. It almost looks like a waterbed that you're like playing with the movement of it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my way to the center of the screen. So it looks like you're playing with the movement of whatever this material is. And it's like you're super concentrated on the rhythm and the movement and the flow. And actually, that feels like a really good space to be in, to be concentrated, but in the flow. It's like a balance of this action oriented structure in the focus, but allowing the flow and to have rhythm. Rhythm also feels like structure too. So it feels like kind of this intentional balance. What is this rhythm and flow? It also feel okay. So this whatever this thing is that you're moving, it feels like liquid, the way that it moves and the like the matter of it. But it also feels like well, it doesn't feel like it looks like it's pink. And the reason why that is important to me is because I color is carries a lot of symbolism and meaning to me. And when I see this pink color, I've already mentioned this before, but pink is about compassion and self love. And sorry, I'm just dropping in what Nadia shared. So, pink is a lot of compassion and self love, but this doesn't feel like it's compassion and self love for you. It feels like this is like compassion and self love overflow that you're feeding out to everyone else. And that you're trying, it's like you're tempering it, and that you are being very like aware of how you are moving this out because of how you're like very concentrated on how it looks and how you're moving it. So it actually feels like you come from a very um sorry, it comes from a very balanced, loving place because it feels like you have the self-love that so many people are trying to come from a place of. Like we talk, if you guys are on social media, especially if you're on Instagram, there are so many self love memes and graphics. But I know it is easier to repost or post a picture with words or even write words than it is to actually live and be what it is that you're sharing. And so, for a lot of people, even though that there's a lot of that floating around there, I feel like there's a lot of lack in terms of putting action behind it. But you, my friend, feels like you actually do it, and you do it with so much love that you do it for yourself so that you could do it for others, is what it feels like. Um, this avatar of you that I see, like um, continuing the pattern and the rhythm of this flow, is like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like that super cool jazz cat. So let's see what else it has. What else your energy has to share for you? Hmm. Okay, so from behind you, I feel like the reason why, not the reason why, but you have a lot of support, which is why you come from such a place of deeply rooted self love. And what I see is like this massive archangel coming from behind you. And at first, what I saw is like this really bright golden light. And then as it rose up, it looked like a halo. And then this massive this massive angel showed up behind you. So it feels like there's archangelic guides with you. Um, I was trying to feel into who it could be. And um, Archangel Christiel comes up, but I question whether or not that's actually Archangel Christiel or if it's because I had a class last weekend where Archangel Christiel came up. But I'll tell you what this guide looks like. It's almost cherubic, so maybe it's a seraphim, but it's cherubic looking. It has like this very round, like childlike looking face, very curly blonde hair, which reminds me of those old Renaissance pictures of angels. Um, but people see angels differently, and if you're familiar with Lorna Byrne, she talks about how sometimes angels are so massive that they're as tall as buildings, and that's how this angel shows up. And actually, I just feel like I need to hold the space while we let this angel just kind of like permeate its energy through the circle, through the space here. Because as I just describe and talk about this angel, I feel like there's like an opening happening in my heart. Um, and it comes from deep down inside. So I'm just going to take a deep breath, and I invite you, Lois, to take a deep breath with me. And just let the energy move through you. Okay, so let's see, what else do they want to share? I feel like you probably work with a lot of angels, because now I just see like all these different kinds of angels that Lorna Byrne used to describe, where they have you think you're seeing a lot of sparkly trinkets, but really that's just the light reflection on their wings. And it's just a lot of like silvery, glittery looking light and imagery. And they shake their head yes, like a very emphatic yes, that you do work with a lot of angels. And I mean, if anyone on here is like, how do I work with angels, all you have to do is ask them and give them permission. So if you feel silly talking out loud, get over it and just say it. But otherwise, you can also write them a letter or say it in your head when you do a prayer. Prayer is when we talk to the universe, and meditation is when we listen. So that's the tip right there. Okay, so I feel like validating that the angels are with you was like a big part, because they're so excited and it feels complete with that message. So thank you so much for letting me read for you, Lois, and just share how that resonates with you. So I'm just going to disconnect with your energy while I move on to Cynthia. So you guys, I used to teach a class, connecting and working with your spirit guides, and I made it on demand, and self-guided. And what I'm really hoping to do with it is, like, my intention for it is to create a community around this content. So it's interactive. You comment, you share your experience, and that is a major part of the learning, is that we learn from each other. So it's on sale till the end of March. So if you are interested in it, it's half off right now. And then after March 31st, it goes to $70. And it's all on Facebook. So for all you guys on Facebook, it is already accessible to you. Real quick, Pat Mahini, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Oh, wrong one. I saw your question. How can I connect social distance with my spirit guides? It's all social distance. Okay, so Cynthia, let me pull up your emojis. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I see is an English bulldog. And the English bulldog is like white and brown, kind of when they have that cow marking. I know that I don't know what it's called actually. I was going to say, I think it's called fawn, but I think that's just when they're brown. But I see this dog, and it's like I see you in a portrait with a dog. Is this a dog that belonged to you? I get a no, that this is a dog that's actually connected to you. And the way that the dog shows up is just like sitting there. And I was actually watching French bulldog videos with my 4-year-old this morning, and we saw one of the dogs sitting just like this, where they're sitting upright on their bottom like a person, but then they're also kind of droopy because they don't really have the muscle to support themselves and like sit up straight. So it's kind of like they're droopy. And I almost feel like this is you. Like this is symbolic of you and how you feel. Like you feel like you are this massive weight that's just super grounded, but not in the way that you want to be. Like almost like you're grounded in a way that is keeping you from moving. And the word moving on comes on. Like you're so grounded in this that you can't move on. But I feel like you are very connected with nature, with elemental energy, with animals, because you are this dog, this cute dog. But then a fairy comes along and it's like you just need, it's like you're like a wind up toy almost, and she comes around behind you and she winds you up and she's like, you just need to be wound up. You just need to let the energy flow through you. So when I think about this winding up, there are a couple ways that we can interpret being wound up, and this wind up actually feels like let yourself feel, and letting yourself feel all the feels, because that's passion, and that's the universe speaking to you through your emotions. um, our emotions are indicators of like what our path is. When you get triggered by something, or when you get triggered by something and then you get upset in a way that you're angry, um, ask yourself, why do I feel angry? It feels like you don't get angry though. It feels like you don't get upset. It actually feels like you feel almost sad because you hold back. It feels like you hold back a lot of this. And it feels like you hold back in a way that it eats away at you on the inside. Because when I'm talking about how, so it feels like this bulldog is again how you feel, how you just feel like blah. But it's just a matter of honoring all the things that you experience and know that they're all happening for you and not to you. They're all a gift. It's all a gift. And that when we think about the things that upset us, we have the space, and what's the right word here? We are equipped to take that on. So if it's something that angers you, knowing that that anger holds truth for you, and you can ask yourself, because you will let yourself know. There are a lot of people that don't trust themselves, and I feel like that's very normal because I was there too. But there are people that don't trust themselves, so they don't even bother asking themselves. But you can ask yourself, like, how is this anger here to serve me? And it will tell you. When you feel sad, why is this sadness, how is the sadness here to serve me? And it will tell you. These tears, the sadness, is like quiet, contained sadness. It feels like it's all of the emotions finding its way out. It's like they're finding the cracks to let themselves out, because if they don't let themselves out, you're going to explode. So this is about having healthy relationship with how you're experiencing life and how you feel, and knowing that you deserve to feel all them emotions too. Like you're a multidimensional being. You are not basic. You are not basic. None of you are basic. But Cynthia, you are not basic. So, it's getting me hot. One of the things that I noticed was like fire. So when I saw this dog kind of just like hanging out there, um, this dog, it feels like just needs to find its passion again, because fire symbolizes passion and motivation. It also symbolizes our intuition and our creativity. So as we think about, and I'm just going to throw up how Lois's reading resonated with her. So as we think about this fire that you need to cultivate within you and let it out, fire is good. Like fire can be good in balance, in temperance. For you, it can be good. And when we think about that, like think about how valuable fire can be, um, just in self-care, because fire can keep you warm. Fire can cook food for you. Even when fire gets unruly and out of control, because I know you're in California, Cynthia, and I know you're in the Inland Empire, so you know about wildfires. So when fire burns down massive acres, yeah, we're bummed because we're like, whoa, it's so destructive. But after the fire is done, it also enriches the soil so that it has all these nutrients so that it could cultivate new life. So even in its rage, fire is still valuable and necessary. Because we live in Achachimen land or Tongva land or Southern California, I learned from all these wildfires that the indigenous people used to burn controlled fires to tend to the land and to cultivate the land. So fire is absolutely necessary. Fire is good. So let the fire within you come through. And the more that you allow yourself to familiarize yourself with it, the more you'll realize that how necessary and how a part of you it is. And then you will find that you will heal that relationship you have with the fire and with your emotions. So that feels complete, Cynthia. I also see purple. So actually, doesn't feel complete yet, but I see purple for you, Cynthia. And this purple tells me that there's a lot of divine inspiration happening for you. And you may question whether that divine inspiration is for you or against you because it feels so fiery. But just know that I see a lot of inspiration happening for you. And it feels like finding your safety with yourself, finding how safety feels for you, and to be able to anchor in that when you feel this inspiration come through, so that you can discern and know whether this is a safe space. Because just because I tell you it's safe doesn't mean it's safe, and just because I tell you it's safe doesn't mean it's going to make you feel safe. The important part is that you find how it feels safe for you, so that then you could surrender and embrace it. Okay, so that feels complete. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for letting me read for you. And thank you everyone for joining. We're about at the top of the hour. So Cynthia, if you want to go ahead and just drop how that resonates for you. I want to share, okay, so next week, again, psychic games for spiritual development. The week after that, I'm going to talk about the energetic body. And the week after that, I'm going to be talking about Q&A. So you guys can drop your Q&A. You can also private message me or post it somewhere on one of my socials and I'll get to it. But I have some stuff in the works. So I also wanted to share that I have a very special event that I'm cooking, that is also a gallery reading type deal, but I also have my next gallery reading in May. And check out my website, KrisellCan, www.krisellcan.com, to see what I'm up to, and join my mailing list. So please join my mailing list, so I don't have to say all this stuff at the beginning or end of my events, and then we could just do all the fun things. So again, thank you so much for joining. I am going to be taking 2 weeks off, I think 2 weeks off, starting tomorrow. because I'm going to be energetically cleansing from my corporate job that I just quit. But thank you so much for being a part of this community, because I couldn't have done it without you guys. I am a part of the equation, but you guys definitely are a big part of that equation too. And yeah, that's it. And cool. I'm so glad you're taking that Reiki class. Reiki is a big opener for people. Thank you, Lois, for joining. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to continue with my Thursday virtual demonstrations. Even while I'm on my break, I just won't be seeing people privately. So I'll see you guys next week, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you to everyone that made themselves available for reading. And what I wanted to share is, if you want reminders on the events, like this event, you can register on my website through the event, and it's free. But the registration will send you reminders that, hey, it's time, it's going to go live. So thanks again, everyone, for joining, and have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.